Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we have ourselves a track by an act named Omnipotent Youth Society titled, I don't know, Kin Huang Dao or something like that. This was purchased as a fan request via Fiverr. Just a reminder, I don't do fan requests via Fiverr anymore. If you want fan requests, you can go to my Patreon where I do monthly fan requests for people. It's cheaper and yeah, it's the exact same kind of video, and you also get a shout out at the end of the reviews. So that's fun. You'll see the outro cards show the people's names on them, and you can be on the outro card too. So that'd be great. Anyways, we're gonna switch over to here. We've got a Xin Huang Dao by Omnipotent Youth Society. I should also mention this was requested by Alan Sun, to be fair. We've spoken about it and it's all good. And to be fair, I'm not upset because there was a fan request via Fiverr. I know I haven't spoken enough about it on the YouTube page. I just don't want to shove it down people's throats at the same time. I don't want people to think I'm just trying to sell my Patreon on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's a difficult balancing act. It's also 8 minutes. Usually I don't review stuff over 7 minutes 30 through Fiverr, let alone anything else. 7 minutes 30 is my limit for track lengths, but just because we didn't know, we're just going to listen through this from start to finish, see what we think. Let's go. Make it big. What do we got? What do we got to deal with today? It's very unusual though, isn't it? Actually, I have to admit, I'm not really sure what to make of this so far. Oh, nice guitar there. Lovely delay on it. Bit of guitar feedback there. That was an unexpected chord. There's a lot of space within this composition that I appreciate. Got like synths or something there. What is creating those interesting sounds? Lovely sound design, I have to be honest. It's very unsettling. Oh, guitar and brass. Yeah, great line with that. I like the octave power chords at the end. It's nice to have the vocals come in almost a minute 40 into it. That's a ballsy move, but I appreciate the hustle they've got going on there, and I love those snare fills as well. Nice space there with the intermittent guitar parts as vocals explore, because there's space to do so. Matches really well with the openness of the intro section, and lovely tone to the drums. It's nice to have that space in it, you know, it's a slow glide. It's a very slow song, but I think that, like, especially if you can understand the language, I'm sure you'd be able to appreciate it. It's very pretty extended harmonies with those lead parts on the right. The guitar is actually relatively subtle in here. I think they have not tried to double track the guitars. Or maybe the double tracking is specifically for the chorus sections, you know? Stunning. It's nice to have the bass in unison with the chords on the right with the guitar. I think it's a nice little bit of extra development here. We have a nice friendly chord progression as well. Boom, 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 or something like that. It's loopable. The guy hovers on the voice. He's got a beautiful texture and coloration to his pipes. Interesting tremolo section to this part. Again, such space in the mix. It's not as common as you'd expect. That tone on that guitar is filthy, isn't it? What a lovely tone he's got on that distortion there. And it's nice to have the brass as a contrast. It sounds so clean and present in the mix. It's nice as well to have that syncing up, that syncopation between the guitar and the brass parts. And they raise there as well, and they harmonize excellently along with those octave chords. The crashes on the cymbals on the drums do sound a bit bigger as well. Oh, that was a fun little bit of vibrato there, wasn't it? Oh, that bit of feedback building up is unusual. It's incredibly tense. Where are we going with this? What's happening next? Oh, we got some synth LFO modulation here going on with those tremolo picked guitar parts. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of this track though, because I don't understand the language. We got lyrics at the end though, which is good. Guitar solo now. Slide guitar solo. I honestly wasn't expecting that, to be fair. It's visceral. It's got a visceral tonality to it. It's mixed well, processed well. It's gentle in its sequence. Almost sounds like it's crying out, you know? No real complaints about that. This was fun. This was a lot better experience than I had with the previous track by Eric Clapton, Layla. This didn't seem nearly as pretentious, you know? Like a little bit of grit at the end. Nice. Well done. We have the lyrics here for Qin Huang Dao. Thank you to Ellenson for providing these lyrics. I do appreciate it. Standing on a bridge that can divide the world, we still cannot see clearly what exactly shrouded our hearts during these moments. The oh so lonesome sea monster dwelling in my heart, the king of sorrow begins to tire the gloom and still current of the deep waters. Oh, okay. So is it all about people that are sort of drowning themselves or extinguishing themselves by trying too hard? I don't know, man. The king of sorrow. He silently follows the youth brave in the channel, watching them proudly extinguish themselves in pursuit of the fast shore. Ah, so he's looking toward other people who are struggling to kind of find some point of sadness. Sea monster, the king of sorrow begins to tire. So they was sick of feeling terrible. I'm not quite sure. But it's talking about people with shrouded hearts and burning themselves out and losing their spark. And I genuinely just feel as if it's talking about the inner conflict that people have and looking at themselves around them and struggling to cope with it. And other people, maybe they have sea monsters. I'm not sure. This is a tricky one. They don't even know why they're in the state they are. But this was effectively my review of the song by Omnipotent Youth Society. I enjoyed this. It was a well-written track. I've spoken what I think it was about within the lyrics section, about people struggling to find themselves or losing themselves along the way, and our inner children, the king of sorrows or something like that, finding that people have, I don't know, I've been reviewing for a while now, my brain's kind of fuzzy. You know, for like the king of sorrow to get sick of the gloom and to look outward to other people who are losing their fire, maybe that sadness wants to escape and find a more violent water to be in. It's almost gloomy to be calm, you know? There needs to be external chaos going on. I'm not sure, but there's a lot of talk about a lot of people being clouded and not knowing why they lost their hope. And I think that the music mirrors that really well. The vocalist sang incredibly well. There was sparse bits of lyrics in there, lines that were repeated. It was almost like a poem. I think it was handled really well, and it was nice and calm, as if they were sort of speaking to you or trying to soothe you, you know what I mean? As if they accepted the situation they're in, and they weren't letting it control them. They were just describing the story that's within their hearts and within their souls. You know, that there was a through composed piece. You know, it was through composed. You know, start to finish, just as poignant. It was almost melancholic at times. It sounded bittersweet. You had a main musical theme that was continued throughout. One sort of like a main 4 to 5 note, bass note progression with the chords to accompany it. Lots of difference and little bits of variation development with the individual instruments and chords involved. And like the combination, like the bass, the drums, the vocals, the slide guitar parts, those synth parts, a little bit of foley and modulation, the vocals, of course. It was this complex tapestry that encircled everything, and I have a lot of adoration for that. I think that Omnipotent Youth Society are a hell of a band, man. Hell of a band. They deserve all the love and support they can get, dude. I've listened to Kill the one from Xia Shuang or something like that. I listened to that track and I enjoyed it, and this one as well. Again, I don't usually review tracks this long, primarily actually because it can be really boring if they're not written well. And I didn't really enjoy the end of Layla, the previous track I reviewed. Dismissing how I feel about Eric Clapton, not getting back into that again. I just think that there was a lot of noise without necessarily the context there. It's because Layla was split into 2 different parts. This track was the way it was from the start till the finish. You went on a journey throughout. There wasn't a massive shift that was questionable. You weren't cutting it in half for the sake of radio play. It was a whole experience. It was complete, and I've got a lot of love for that. The production of recording, mixing, and mastering was absolutely sensational. It was nice and kind of like rough and gritty and intense and exactly what you'd expect from the album art, you know. I love that to pieces. You know, there wasn't a sense of duality that I got with Layla where like the first part was kind of angry and frustrated and the other part was some fantasy land where it was like, oh, things worked out. I got to be a bad person and got away with it, you know? Yeah, that's effectively my review though of this track by Omnipotent Youth Society. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show Omnipotent Youth Society some love via the various social media and YouTube page. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out. And remember, go check out my Patreon if you want fan requests, because I don't do them via Fiverr. I do fan requests via Patreon. Cheers.